There is a Jacob, a farmer that you don't know who is inside. And there is also an Esau who is a hunter inside. So as you are growing up, it depends which one you are developing. Even the success that you have today is determined by which of these two peoples, which of these two virtues that God has invested inside of you, you are developing. Now, when you are an African now, you must understand something that I'm just going to touch a little bit before I continue teaching some other things that we are teaching. You must understand that the farmer always wins. Let's also say the farmer always wins. Now, that's why Jacob became the most blessed person, and he even has a name that was given to the nation of Israel, because his other name is Israel. So Israel is named after Jacob. And it's a blessed nation because they are named after a man who had a farming mentality. This is a Jewish father. This is Isaac, and he has a wife, and the wife is carrying two nations. So, as I taught you sometime, that every human being has got a womb which produces. You have got a womb, a spiritual womb. Women have a physical womb, but you have got a spiritual womb. So there is a king inside of you who is the farmer, and there is a common man who is the hunter. So the Bible is saying the other one will be stronger than the other. One will be stronger than the other. So Jacob was prophesied that his farming ability would be stronger than his brother's hunting abilities. Now, as Africans, already we are born with a disadvantage because our DNA, it is a DNA of a hunter. Now, you get this from the table of nations. Now let's put Genesis 10, verse 8. Cush begot Nimrod. Now, as Africans, we are children of a man called Ham. You know, God destroyed the whole earth with water. There is a flood that came, and all the people died. And then there is a family that remained. There were just a few of them that came out of the ark of covenant. It was Noah, his wife, and his sons, roughly about 8 people or so. It was 8. If I remember, if I count very well, 8, which is the number of new beginnings, who started a period called the post-flood period. There is the pre-flood period where we lost a lot of herbs. There are herbs that are there that were put by God just to treat even cancer. Some of them disappeared. I think there is one which has been discovered in Murewa right now, and a lot of people are using it, even if you have cancer of the wound or something like that. Some are just using it. It's not those ones from traditional healers. I'm talking of something you can just go and pick, and cancer automatically dries and dies. So there are such things like ginger and so forth. These are not things which you get from traditional healers, but they are actually roots and herbs that can heal you. So they were destroyed, most of them, and washed, and we remained with few, some which are being used to make some medicines that we are using today. So in the table of nations, after Noah came out, now the sons of Noah who went out, Genesis 9:18, out of the ark, it was Shem, it was Ham, Japheth, and Ham was the father of Canaan. So these are the 4 sons and their wives that came out, and Noah and his wife. So there were 8 of them. So I want you to follow me very well here. These were the 3 sons of Noah, and from these, the whole earth was populated. So all the black people, the whites, the coloreds, the whatever that you are seeing, we all came from these 3 children, these 3 sons, because everyone had died. So whether you are whatever color, we came out from these 3. So they populated the whole earth. So now, before you can become a powerful Christian, you need to do what we call background spiritual mapping, where you map your DNA or your background, where you came from these three, from Ham and Japheth and Shem. Where did you come as an African person? That's why I'm saying I'm speaking to Africa. So as Africans, our father was called Ham. Ham, that is the father of the Africans. Now, verse 20, let's go, let's continue. Noah began to be a farmer. Let's all say Noah began to be a farmer. So the moment Noah, who was now our second spiritual parent in our genealogy, the first parent of all the humans on earth was Adam. And he did what he did, and his people were destroyed. Then God started a new season on earth with a man called Noah. When Noah came, he became a farmer. The same as Adam. He became a farmer. So which means when God was creating us, he wanted us to be farmers. That's why he gave us land and all these things, so that we may experience two types of farming. There is what we call physical farming, where you must actually farm vegetables, you farm maize and so forth. Then there is another dimension in you where you must do what is called spiritual farming. So these two are parallel to each other, and they have same truths. All truth is parallel, like a railway line. So what you see happening where there are people sitting and getting stuff in the physical world, in the spirit, it's the same as well. When you sit, you also receive a certain harvest in your life. Now, as we came, our father, who is Ham, I think you know what he did. Verse 22, when he saw his father naked, he went outside and told his two brothers, and then he started mocking his father. And when the father woke up, he cursed Canaan. Verse 25. So Canaan is not the father of the African people. I hear some who say that Canaan, we were cursed because we are Africans and we come from Canaan. No, Canaan is not the father of the African continent. Then he cursed Canaan. He didn't curse the father. I always tell people, when you mock the nakedness of your spiritual father, God curses your children, not you, because he knows it touches you more when he curses your children. So it was not the man who mocked the father who got a curse, but it was the son, Canaan, who did nothing. And he was told, you shall be a servant of servants, and you shall be to your brethren. That's why the land of Canaan was taken by the Israelites. The Canaanites were killed. Why? Because they were also part of the sons of Ham. So where did Africans come from? Where did the black people come from? This is what I want you to get. Now, maybe let me come here. Verse 6 of Genesis 10. Let's go to verse 6. Genesis 10. The sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. So our great, I don't know, father Ham, where we came from, he had 4 children: Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. 4. But the last born was the one that was cursed. So the Africans came from the one called Cush, the firstborn of Ham. Cush means a black man with a black skin. So when the children were born, 4 children to Ham, one of them came out with a black skin, and is called the Cushite. That's why Africa long back was called the land of the Cushites, or we were called the land of Cush, which means the land of people with a dark skin. With a dark skin. So we are called Cushites. That is our father who brought this race that you are seeing, which is on earth. Now, when we go to verse 8, let's go to verse 8. Cush then begot Nimrod, and Nimrod began to be a mighty one on earth. He was the leader that was leading even the earth, and he was very powerful. And the Bible says he was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore, it is said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. Now, that's why those who did history, if you check the background of Africans or the African continent, we were hunters. We used to hunt a lot, to wear skins, go into the caves, at Chinoi Caves, Matopo. You will see people wearing animal skins and with spears, because we grew up hunting a lot with spears, because our father Ham, he had a son called Cush, who was a black man, and the black man Cush begot a son called Nimrod. Nimrod, who became a hunter on earth, and he became a mighty one. And I will not have time to trace for you how he came towards this side, which is now called Africa. So they were migrating because of weather conditions. So because of their skins, some were going to colder countries, some can survive in countries that are very hot. So we came to this side, because when you are black like that, you have melanin. So you can withstand a lot of sun without even applying sometimes some sunscreen. So there is migration that was depending with weather conditions. And then we went to different nations. So when you are in Africa, you must understand something, that your DNA, no matter you are going to school, you are going to university, you have got a DNA of a hunter. It is a very disadvantaged DNA, and you need to deal with it. Can you shake somebody next to say, inside of you, say there is a hunter. Now, hunters, they live by killing and eating. That's why Africans, we have a problem of living hand to mouth. I'm not mocking you, but I'm talking the truth, because it is in our blood. Africans don't know how to plan. They don't know how to budget. Where have you ever seen a hunter who knows how to plan, or using a diary or something like that? That's why when you come to Africa, even check, I demonstrated last time when I was teaching some of these things, that you will see an African with a diary of 2024 in 2025. And they are writing where it's written April, yet we are in January. So which means even if you give them a diary, they don't know how to use it. Even check your neighbor, the diary they are using. Are they writing notes on the same day today? Or they are already writing notes in November? In their diary, where it's written November, you see, because that is Africa. So this is why there is poverty in Africa. Do you know that Africa is the richest continent on earth? Zimbabwe is one of the richest countries in the world. I have traveled everywhere. I have gone to Singapore, Malaysia. The diamonds that they are using, they are coming from Chiadzwa. There is one guy that I met in Indonesia in one of the biggest jewelry wholesale, and he was saying these diamonds that we are polishing are the best diamonds from Chiadzwa. I said, do you know Chiadzwa? He said, somewhere in Zimbabwe there. I said, I am a Zimbabwean, I know Chiadzwa. It was my first time as a Zimbabwean to touch diamonds from my own country in Indonesia. And they are selling them, the chains, the golden rings that they are putting those special diamonds. Some are selling for millions. But you see, when you come back to Zimbabwe, there are potholes all over. I'm not despising anybody, but I'm just trying to help you. It's not only Zimbabwe, but the whole of Africa. There is corruption. We don't know how to use our resources. Do you know that we have got resources that can make us to be the most powerful nations on earth with buildings far much better than in Dubai? We don't need even to go to Dubai because we are richer than even these countries with oil. We have everything. We have lithium in this country. We have diamonds, nickel, you can name it, copper. Everything is there. Africa is a land of power, a land of powerful mineral resources. Singapore is a one-city nation, a one-city state. Their capital city is called Singapore. It's just a small island. But Singapore is competing with America. The US dollar versus the Singaporean dollar is maybe 1:1 something for years. But Singapore does not have a mineral. The Singaporeans, they don't have minerals in their ground. It's just a small island. They only depend with one sector of their economy, which is tourism. But they are controlling the world, and they are now one of the richest countries in Asia. And many people are migrating from Malaysia going to Singapore. Yet Singapore has nothing to do with agriculture. They don't have places like us. Here in Zimbabwe, we have all sectors. We have industries, we have mining, we have agriculture, we have everything. They just have one. And when you check, Zimbabwe has more than 10 sectors which are availed by God. So why do we fail when we have all these things? It is the DNA, the bloodline that we are carrying from Ham. Ham was good in gossip and laughing at others and laughing at his father. That's why in Africa, once you go on social media, if you see somebody cursing or mocking or celebrating someone's downfall, if you trace that Facebook account, it will lead you to an African person. We celebrate each other's downfall. When we see someone uncovered, we celebrate. We don't support each other. You will see a person in this church who will know that brother so-and-so has a business and they sell blankets that are very quality, but he would rather go and buy blankets from a heathen and not support their own brother. This is the demon that is making Africa to be destroyed. The Japanese, they support Japanese. Indians, they support each other. Even whites, when they come, they support each other. They have communities. That's why it's very rare to see a white beggar or to see an Indian beggar. Because when they come, they are supporting each other. But you, when you are in church, you are busy praying for to be the only one prosperous and everyone to worship you, and you don't want your brother to also rise. Don't look at me like you don't know that I'm talking to you. Now can you point at an African next to you and you say, this jealousy must go. Say, the spirit of harm must come out. Say, the spirit of hunting must come out. Do you know the reason why in Africa we don't know how to keep time? It's our DNA. Where have you ever seen a hunter who knows what time to get a rabbit or something like that? Or to plan that? Hunters, that's why when you are dealing with an African, they will tell you that when an African when you are supposed to meet them at 9 o'clock, you schedule and say, let's meet at 8. Because to them, 9 o'clock is, in fact, if you want them to come at 9, you say 8 a.m. Then they show up an hour later. We don't know how to plan. Africans, they want to pay their things there and there. They don't know how to budget. That's why some of you are wondering where to get school fees money, but last year you were loaded. You couldn't budget. You were enjoying Christmas, forgetting that that school fees time is coming. And then when it's January, you are now binding the demon of poverty. I say, I bind that demon. I cast it out. No, there is no demon of poverty. You are the poverty that you must deliver yourself from. You are the demon that you must deal with. Do you know that it's easy even to go for holiday? Even when you start to budget now, a farmer plans well ahead of season. Tickets, even to fly to Durban with your wife for holiday, are cheaper February, March. But when does an African man buy tickets when it's 2 weeks before Christmas? When they are now expensive. But that's why we think whites are so loaded. Maybe let me use the word Europeans. The Europeans or Americans, they have a lot of money. No, it's a lot of order. It's not a lot of money. That's why they can go to Victoria Falls. You wonder, an old lady is touring the whole world and enjoying. Why? Because they plan their things in time. They know how things operate, that I buy tickets during this time. And then I do. So in Africa, if an event is happening, people don't pay 3 months before. They pay 2 days, and some on the day of the event. Mostly, 90% they come and pay on the very day.